The Samsung Galaxy S24 is here. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the new features and whether we should be excited or is it just a few useless gimmicks in the same body as last year. Let's kick things off with something pretty exciting about the Galaxy S24 Ultra. We're talking about a titanium body here. Seems like Samsung's taking a page out of Apple's playbook with this move, but hey, it's a good one. Now you might be thinking, titanium? That sounds heavy. But here's the cool part. These phones are actually lighter than their predecessors. Sure, titanium is a bit heavier as a material, but its super strength means you need way less of it compared to aluminum. Plus it's really good at getting rid of heat from your phone's guts, keeping everything cool under the hood. Speaking of which, chances are that it's not the first video about the smartphone that you've watched. And some YouTuber might have told you that all three models are equipped with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, a really powerful chipset exclusive to Samsung. Well, that's true, but only in some countries, like the US, for example. If you live in Europe, you will only get the Snapdragon in the most expensive S24 Ultra. The rest of the smartphones, so S24 and S24 Plus, will be equipped with Samsung's chipsets, which is the Exynos 2400. And historically, they proved to be less efficient and having some issues with high temperatures, for example. Will that be the case this time? Samsung says no. They say that they've learned from their mistakes and they've implemented some better heat dissipators. Nevertheless, if I were you, I would check what it is in your country. And if it's Exynos, I would wait a few days for some long-term reviews to come out and clarify that there aren't any problems with that chipset. Moving back for one moment to the body of the Samsung models, we have to talk about those sharp edges. They look stylish. I was never a fan of those rounded edges that Samsung did, especially back in 2016 with the Galaxy S7 Edge. Like, sure, they gave this illusion of no bezel, but in fact, they made some parts of the screen really useless. So I really appreciate that Samsung finally admitted defeat and all the new models have this flat, almost notebook-like screen. And there's a reason, but I will explain that later in the video, so stick around.
I love gaming outdoors myself,
said nobody ever. But if you really have to play video games outside, then this one will be useful. All S24 series models feature screens with a peak brightness of 2600 nits, almost 1000 more than previous generations. Also, new is the use of Corning Gorilla Glass, designed to provide even better protection against drops and scratches. Now before we move to the most interesting part of this video, which is the Galaxy AI, I just wanted to list all the most important specs on the screen so that you can stop this video now and compare the specs between all the models. I also included the prices in both the US dollars and euros. So you might have noticed that there's no special segment on cameras in this video. That's because the big changes to the cameras in the Galaxy S24 series are deeply intertwined with its AI capabilities. Plus, I didn't want to talk about it until I can actually test this for a few days and give you my honest opinion. But let's talk about the AI features that Samsung packed into this photo and video experience. First up, AI slow motion. This thing's a game changer. It transforms standard videos into slow motion masterpieces. How? By slipping an AI-generated frame between each real frame. So basically your regular 30 FPS footage can now morph into this dreamy slow-mo. That's pretty wild. Then there's the photo editor, now supercharged with advanced AI. Want to move or delete something from your snap? Samsung's AI steps in, filling in the blanks with generated imagery. This magic also works when you're rotating shots or wish to zoom out a little. Samsung will try to generate things that didn't initially fit in the frame. Now let's get to my favorite bit. The AI-powered notebook. Here's the thing. I have dysgraphia, which means that writing in a straight line is a tough gig for me. My handwriting, not great. And it takes me forever to write stuff down. Back in my student days, I'd be so busy scribbling notes that I'd miss half of what the professor said. Super frustrating. But imagine if I'd had this Galaxy AI notebook back then. It takes my messy notes and straightens them out, turns them into typed text, and even formats them with bullet points. Suddenly, reading my own notes isn't a headache. It doesn't stop there. It can record a lecture, and convert it into notes on its own. So instead of frantic note-taking, I could have focused on actually understanding the lecture. Another useful feature is translation. The Galaxy AI allows for real-time translation of not only messages in many different text messaging apps, but also during a phone call. Alright folks, so here's the deal. I bet tech reviewers are gonna be all over these Galaxy S24 phones. And why not? They are bringing some new flavors to the table. And let's face it, we've been stuck in this loop of bigger this, faster that, and wow, look at those cameras for ages. But the S24, it's actually nudging us a step forward, especially with its AI features. Now I'm curious, are you on board with this AI wave? Or does it make you a bit wary? Drop your comments and I will see you soon. Have an awesome day.